The best music for hard-working people. Get the job done with Radio.
And now your feature presentation.
Hey there, rockers! Welcome to Bands, the Good, Bad, and the Ugly with Dr. Dog on the show where we get real about the ups and downs of band life. Your host, Dr. Dog, is locked and loaded. So let's do this.
Tensions rise and fall like the sea. one and only Dr. Dog here, welcoming you to Bands. The good, bad, and the ugly. Bringing you the ins and outs, ups and downs of band life. So let's get to it. Let's rock and roll.
Our first guest is my wicked twin, Brent Dorner. How you doing today, Brent?
I'm beside myself. I should be a twin.
That's right. That's right. So, how you doing today? You doing good?
Yeah, a little busy around here. Stuff breaking, fixing stuff on the house. I was actually, I'm trying to get album 6 mastered, and my mastering guy and my record company, Indie Tunes Records, all require ISRC codes. It's
Right.
the only way you can track your music or get paid. A lot of artists skip this step, and you've got no way of getting paid unless you create, and you can create your own ISRC codes through Music Connect. You just fill it out, pick a number like track 0001, 0002, and you just fill out the sheet, and there's your ISRC codes. And it's easy, but without them, you can't track your music, and then you can't get paid either.
Really? Is that through all social media that that you're out on, that you get paid as long as you have that code?
Yeah, like Indie Tunes Records. He was telling me a couple of his artists were bitching him out because their albums weren't out live. And he said, well, you didn't send me your ISRC codes. And he said, well, without the ISRC codes, I won't release your music, because he's the publicist, right? He's the publisher. So they got all pissed off, and he said, well, don't send me half your album, a little here and a piecemeal. You send me half the album, and then you send me the artwork a couple of days later. You never send the ISRC codes. I need all this information. And then, of course, the metadata that gets added in mastering. And there's metadata too, where my guy can add all the lyrics and artwork to an MP3 that when a smartphone user clicks on that, you should be able to see the lyrics while you're listening to the song.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that sometimes, because I hate to say it, I think you might agree though, sometimes in the songs you really can't understand the lyrics. But I want to back just for a second, and I want to tell the listeners, that first song that you heard before we started the show was from My Wicked Twin, which was Light from Within, which was a phenomenal song. Brent, I need to tell you that your music is definitely unique. You're a legend in the industry, and but that song was a great song. So
Thanks, man.
oh, you're welcome, dude. I mean, it is what it is. And I'll tell you one thing about the doctor. I never say anything that I don't mean. I never give any compliments I don't mean, because I feel that I don't have to say anything if it's not what I believe. But, speaking of that, I want to say, I want to ask you a question about, I keep seeing you state that the lyrics are the most important aspect of the music. So
It sure is.
Explain that to me just a little bit.
Well, I think musicians are trying to all have some sort of a message, whether it's hate, love, or politics. I don't want to mix the albums where the vocals are so loud it turns up sounding like a pop album. But at times, there's a fine line between where you EQ the vocals and the guitars, and the vocals always compete
Right.
in that frequency range. And I don't want to make my mixes sound like a pop album, but I spend a lot of time finding the lyrics, and it's important for me that people hear them. So my record company, just yesterday, I sent him the 9 songs for album 6. And he said, I can't hear the lyrics on track 3, 7, 8, and 9. Fix it. So that's what I did last night.
Well, what I see too with a lot of artists, they seem to bury their vocals, like you were saying, and they kind of blend in with the guitars, and I'm like you. I like to hear those vocals stand out, because again, I believe the lyrics makes the song as well. So let me ask you a question. When you listen to a song for the first time, and you're listening to new songs, what catches your attention to, I like this, or I don't, or I'm going to keep listening, or I'm going to stop listening to this track? What decides that for you?
I would say the feel immediately, because usually they start with music.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes songs start with a cappella, like I did with "Give Me Peace from the Madness." We start with vocals, but that's really the thing. Lyrics should invoke emotion, whether they're it pisses the listener off or it makes them want to double up on their beer or go find their girlfriend and take them to the bedroom, right? Something
Right.
like that.
No, you know what? And see, that's the thing too. And it also, after you've listened to a song, and it brings back memories, when a song is played at a certain time or certain reasons, and you hear it again, like you said, it evokes that emotion in you. And it could be for the first time you have joy, or you have sadness, or I don't know, sometimes you have anger. But the song does that. You want it to evoke some type of emotion in the listener. And, that's great. So I just had to ask you that, because you talk so much about the lyrics, and we're going to get into, like, how you go about, writing your song. But, I'm just impressed with the way that you talk about how you're putting things together. So just tell us, then, how do you go about, writing your songs? I mean, is it a certain direction that you start in, that you end up at, or do you just feel it and create it, or what do you do?
I always start with my song title. Like, let's say one day I'll have a good guitar lick feel kind of thing, and then I will look at my huge list of song titles to find a title that might fit my lick. And then say the one song I wrote, "Love Is What I Lean On." So I went and I found every word that related to leaning, level, out of level, plumb,
Mm,
this, that, everything. I grabbed all the lyrics regarding the word leaning, because leaning is in the title. And I tried to put every friggin' lyric in there that refers to leaning, but still sending my message, right?
right,
I
right.
do that all the time with almost everything I do. I mean, somewhere I heard that the first sentence of the song should have should whatever the song is about, the first sentence of the song should have that topic in the first sentence.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
right, right.
So, and then, as far as writing, like, if you change your, like, if you have all your musical changes at the end of every fourth bar, your music becomes pretentious, because your listener can just say, well, here comes the change. I can smell it coming, right?
Right, right,
So say you write your songs that write it out of bar. Say you get 3.5 bars in and make your change, or go 4.5 bars, and don't follow the bar sequence of a 4/4 time, 4 bars, make a change, 4 bars, make a change. Sometimes I do that, but I try to not do that. Therefore, the listener can't smell when the change is coming.
right. Because it
That's
becomes a common thing that happens in the songs, of all bands. They get into that groove, and like you said, then the listener knows this is coming up. So
Yeah, and
that's smart.
I want the listener to go, huh, that change didn't come where I thought it was. Maybe I'll keep listening.
Right, right. That was unexpected. I expected this, but it didn't happen. So,
Yeah.
no, that's very smart, and again, I wanted to kind of just get into that just a little bit about how you come up with your songs because, they're just great songs. And then speaking about that, we have another song from My Wicked Twin, which is Scary Go Round. Mr. Brent, that was a phenomenal song, dude. I mean, again, it's hard to come up with words at times about your songs because they're just phenomenal songs, and each one of them have their own unique sound and lyrics. But you just write some great songs.
Thanks,
Um,
bud.
you're welcome, dude. I mean, again, it's just my honor. You're a legend in the indie industry, and I mean, you can see behind you, and I don't know if the listeners can, but you've got like four gold albums behind you. You've got two platinums on your left side, and that speaks itself right there for your career and your success. But in your career and the time you've been in it and in the business, I mean, you must have faced rejection and criticism, etc. from people, whether from listeners to all the way up the chain to the music industry. So how'd that affect you, or did it affect you? And, did it change your course of how you looked at things, how you produced your music, how you wrote your music?
Well, I mean, when we had signed a worldwide record deal with Capitol Records in LA, and so we write, Helix writes, I don't know, let's say 12 songs, and we submit all the recordings to Capitol Records, and they say we don't like any of them, or we don't like 80% of them. Write some more songs and go and record some more, right? Well, we thought these are good songs, but Capitol Records rejected it, just like Mick Jagger from the Stones. They recorded their whole album, and Capitol Records rejected it. So the whole album. So we thought, like, we kept sending songs to Capitol Records as we finished them, and they would reject them. And in the end, rather than, I think we wrote 22 songs or something for the album. And after that, after they rejected almost the whole album, we just said from now on, we're only going to send them the 10 or 12 songs that are going to be on that album and nothing else. And then, not every song's going to be a home run either. And so you can't sit down and say, today I'm going to write a hit song. Right. Because you'll probably never finish it. Because it'll never be good enough, right?
Well, I mean, how do you determine if it's going to be a hit song or not? And that's the thing. You don't know. I mean, you could think it's the greatest song you've ever written, but what really determines if it's going to be a hit song, number one, and then do they, when they reject your music like that, they've signed you on, you're with them, and then they reject your music, what reasons do they give you? It's not what we're looking for? It's not what the listeners want now? Or what do they tell you the reason?
Capitol Records said, this is Bush League. That was the phrase they always used, Bush League.
Really? Yeah. So it's Bush League, but they signed you when they heard you. But now since you're signed, you're Bush League.
Yeah, and with the awards on the wall, there's your Bush League for you.
Well, that's what I was going to get ready to say, and that's the thing about the music industry and record labels, is that they've changed so much, and if you are under their thumb, they rule you, just like a prison guard or something, that you do this or do that, and if we don't like it, then do it over again. And artists put a lot of time into your work. I mean, you just told me 22 songs and they reject them. It's like, that takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort.
I'll tell you, a lot of money, because we could have just done demos. Right. But no, Capitol Records had everything fucking 24 track or whatever. So you're in the recording studio at $2 a minute to record all these songs that all get rejected. And all that money that the Capitol Records paid the recording studio, that comes out of your royalties.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you pay it back.
Yeah, it's called recoupable money, right?
Yeah. So you think, especially, and listen up for these new bands out there and these new artists coming out that think that, if you get signed on by a label, you're going to be getting rich, and they give you all this money up front, but guess what? You got to pay it back one way or the other. So, keep that in mind. And, speaking of that, we're going to go into My Wicked Twin. This next song, guys, is just off the charts, and it's My Susceptible Heart.
Step into sunlight, into shadows. I get so high and then I'm smack down low. Step into sunlight, into shadows. I get so high and then I'm smack down low. My heart's susceptible.
joke of the day, dude. That's a great one. And we're back with Mr. Brent Dorner with My Wicked Twin. So, Mr. Brent, we just got done talking a little bit about how artists get screwed over and bent over and shoved up. So, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about the band life and about being an indie artist?
Well, I'm pretty sure that everybody's all, like, oh God, we're starting to be successful, and we're gonna go and we're gonna hit these 10 cities and it's gonna be awesome. But as soon as you get out on the road, first the van blows a tire, the bus engine blows, somebody gets busted, the singer loses their voice, you get to the gig, the sound system's a piece of shit. The lighting system is shit. The monitors are no good. The stage is too small. All that stuff, and you're thinking, "Oh, this is going to be great." In your mind, you're imagining all these big open stages with high quality sound and lighting. And you get there, and then you got a rider that says, we need so many cans of beer, so much pop, and food, right?
Right.
Well, and then some of the venues, they'll bring you like a bag of chips and some pickles. Right? And you were expecting that steak dinner, right?
Oh, dude. And so listen out there, listeners. That right there is just a tiny bit of.
And then you put the crew takes the guitars out and puts them in the parking lot. A guy backed over my guitar and crushed it, right?
No.
All kinds of stuff like that. Another time, got to Winnipeg. I had my Gibson Explorer. We had really good flight cases. All the guitars would go in cases, and all the cases would go in a big case, right?
Right.
So friggin' cold. They pulled the guitars out of the cases, and I opened the lid, and the neck was the glue. Right where the neck glued to the body, it just became unglued, and that was the end of my Gibson Explorer. And I'm supposed to be playing that tonight, right? But the neck fell off, broke off. All kinds of shit like that.
Oh,
and then
man.
That doesn't even include. So the band now's got to say you're in a van and you're all cramped up in there together, and everybody starts friggin' arguing. Now they're not getting along, right? And this is the glorious thing. And one guy drinks too much, and the other guy gets a rash because he's smoking in the room, or fucking all that stuff. It's luckily for Helix, like, we never really had any big freakouts, honestly, over the 30 or 35 years with Helix. I mean, there was never a time that anybody was punching anybody out or smashing, or everybody we were reasonable with each other. Rather than start yelling and everything, talk it out amongst yourself. You don't have to freak out and start breaking stuff.
Right. No, I agree. And back in the day, we were all, I think, just sit around, smoke a joint or whatever, and fucking mellow out and fucking quit your fucking arguing,
I saw that video of where Dimebag Darrell died there in, was it Ohio, where he got murdered?
Yeah.
And, I stood at that very spot, right where Dimebag was playing his guitar where the guy killed him.
Right.
Stood in that very spot. And why it reminded me is because the dressing room was just off the side of the stage. And, and there's mop buckets and puke buckets in there and garbage cans. And the floor hasn't been washed in 7 years. Places, you don't even want to sit on the chair. The place is so dirty, and there's no chairs. So you want to change into your stage clothes, but there's nowhere to sit down to change your clothes, right?
Right.
All kinds of stuff like that. And everybody's thinking it's going to be so glorious. And then your road manager, he can plan the stuff down to a T. He phones ahead. He goes, I remember many times where he'd phone ahead and make sure, he said, well, he'd tell the hotel, we've got all our rooms reserved. Don't sell our rooms because we're going to be arriving late. We get there at like 3 a.m. They sold our rooms. We got no rooms. That happened like, I don't know, this many times. And he even said to him, "I told you don't sell our rooms. We're going to be arriving really late," and they did anyway. So that's not the road manager's fault.
No, no.
That stuff happens.
So what do you guys do in that case? I mean, you're 3 o'clock in the morning. Are you running around trying to find a place to sleep? Are you sleeping in the van again, or what are you doing?
Yeah, sometimes we'd have to sleep on the tour bus, and and then the tour bus heater stops working, and it's like -30. So everybody's trying to lay down and get some rest before the big show. We're going to be on TV in Edmonton, and so everybody's trying to sleep with their winter coats and their winter boots on in their bunk of their bus because the heater doesn't work, stop working, and the driver can't see out the windshield. And then you're supposed to show up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for all the interviews, and then look alive for the show later that night when you didn't sleep all night because you didn't have a freaking guitar.
Oh, when you were telling that, I right away for some reason it brought in Richie Valens and the Big Bopper when their bus was so freaking cold. He decided to fly to the next gig, and that was it. That was his last gig right there when he took into that airplane.
Funny you say that because I did my last gig on the One Helix tour in Vancouver. He went to the East Coast from Nova Scotia right to the West Coast in Vancouver, and we were going to fly home. I think back then it was like $200 to go from Vancouver to Toronto, and then I just drive an hour home from there. So I said to Paul Hackman, our guitar player, "Come and fly home with us." He goes, "No, no, this might be my last time out west, and I want to take the bus or the van." We had a specified driver, a driver that he just drove. That's all he did. He slept all day and drove all night. So of course they went in. I said, "Okay, well, Paul, have a safe drive." And that was the last time I ever spoke to him because the driver fell asleep with the cruise control on in the mountains, and the van shot off the mountains, and Paul got killed.
No shit.
Yeah. So that shit happened. So there's and then our tour bus, we sideswiped the moose and tore the mirror right off the side of the bus.
Oh man.
In a snowstorm. Welcome to the glorious life of rock and roll.
So, speaking of that, again, dude, I mean, you've been doing this freaking many years and performing and so what did you see that was your most disastrous experience that I think that you maybe you keep thinking about, or it's still in your mind? It could be done years and years ago, but what was the most disastrous experience you had at a show?
Well, I mean, there was always times where the singer's mic would, in the middle of the song, would stop working and they couldn't get it to work. Lots of times where my amp would just stop working or my guitar and they couldn't figure that out. Sometimes the PA would go out during the live show, the whole PA. Sometimes just all the lighting would go out. Now you're playing in the dark, right? So I'm not sure. We never actually had a really bad disaster, but there was a time where our singer he had a cowbell and a drumstick, and he's banging away in the middle of this song. We're live and we're full of piss and vinegar. The drumstick breaks off to a long, sharp point, right? And there's our singer going friggin' nuts. So he's got the sharp, pointy drumstick in his hand, and he reaches for his mic. He grabs the mic and goes like this to sing, and he stabs himself in the face with the drumstick.
Oh
no! Now he's bleeding all over the place, and I see the crowd's going, "Oh yeah, this is awesome!" Right? And I look over at our singer, and I see blood all over his face, and I go like, "What the hell happened to you?" And he comes over, and he grabs my head, and he just smears his face all over my face. Right? There was a time where our singer was jumping up and down so hard, he broke a hole through the stage, and he went right through the stage.
No, I know you were going to say that. That's unreal.
Yeah. And we had to stop the show, and somebody went to a hardware store and bought some plywood, and they screwed it down.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Stuff like that. I
Oh
mean,
man.
I can thankfully say we've never been booed off the stage in like 35 years.
Well,
But there was a couple of close calls, though, I'll tell you. I
well,
mean, when
that's
we
an
went on,
achievement, right? That's an achievement. You haven't been booed off of any stage. That's pretty good.
no, we went on stage at some theater in Chicago with Motorhead because we had already done a tour with Motorhead in Europe, and that crowd in Chicago, they only wanted to hear Motorhead and nobody else. And
Really.
we were right at the very edge of either having the shit kicked out of us and get booed off or both. That was a close time. There was another time when we did the Kiss tour. It was 13 countries and 33 cities.
Right. I was going to ask you about that.
And so we go on in like Edinburgh or somewhere, Edinburgh, Scotland, that was in there. And as soon as we go on this, or what is it? What do they do? This in England? That means fuck off, right? And the whole crowd, soon as before we even played, they're all doing this. They haven't even heard us yet, right? So we go on, and everybody's telling us to do this, and they're spitting on us, and they're throwing empty water bottles and slushy cups loaded with it, and everything is just raining down on the stage, even from the far back seats and stuff. So we finish the song, and everybody goes, "Yeah!" So we're shook up. We play the next song, that stuff, same thing. Keep raining, spitting on us, everything. So this goes on for our show, right? And I thought, man, that was the worst we've ever done in our whole career. Kiss comes on. So first song, this shit just comes raining down on them. They're spitting on Kiss too, right? So I mean, this is the glorious life of being on the road. I got boogers hanging off my guitar strings, right?
That's unreal, dude. That's unreal. We're going to go into another song by my wicked twin, Breathe My Name.
Schließen. Ich weiß, was ich will, weil ich es gerade in meiner Hand habe. What's that you say? Can you come away? To breathe my name. I wanna miss you. It's getting down to that kind of really miss you. I promise you. That's me.
Breathe My Name is the first song we've ever had that hit over 1,000 streams last week.
Oh, really?
And I think it went up. I think our record company said, he sent me another thing, said you hit over 1,600 now. So for some reason, it's the only song that's ever streamed over 1,000. I don't know. If I knew how it got picked up, I'd do it with every song, but I don't know how it worked, how it happened.
Well, congratulations though. That's great. That's really great.
It's not much. I mean, it's only 1,600 streams. It's not 500,000 or millions, but it's better than a kick in the teeth with a frozen muckluck, I guess.
Oh yeah, dude. It's better than one stream, and you know, all you do is, you know, only the way you can go up is keep going up, and the more streams, you know, just it is what it is. But so, you know, what do you find the unspoken challenges bands face behind the scenes? Now, you've talked quite a bit about, you know, things that you show up at venues, and the lighting and the sound, and just the venue itself is shit. But what do you see as the unspoken challenges, you know, that you guys face behind the scenes that really nobody sees?
I would have to think it would be the personal lives of the musicians, because this guy's going to say that guy's wife doesn't get along with the other guy's wife, and then you're going to have rehearsal and a songwriting session, and well, that guy can't be there because he's got his kid's baseball game, and that guy can't be there because he's got to re-primer the Jeep. Who knows, right?
Right, right.
So then, you know, and then you start writing, and it turns out that only, say there's 5 guys, they don't all write. Only 2 or 3 of them write. So then the drummer and the bass player and the other guys are sitting around getting bored, and then they get pissed off and antsy and stuff. And then when it comes time to register the songs with SOCAN, ASCAP, EMI, whoever, so who did all the songwriting? Well, these 2 guys. Well, what about the rest of the band? Well, they didn't write the song. Well, then the band goes, well, how come you guys get all the writers' royalties and we don't? They said, well, because we wrote the songs. Well, you guys were planking the chick down the hall in the hotel room and partying. We were in the other room writing lyrics and guitar licks.
Right.
Right. So
right.
You'll have that problem. So sure, as soon as the one guy's making more money than the other guy, you got problems.
Right. Right.
All kinds of stuff like that. I would imagine. There's 4 different types of royalties. There's the songwriters royalties. There is the sheet music royalties. There is the airplay royalties, and there is what's the name? It's the actual physical sale of the record, right? It's a CD or a record. There's the 4 royalties. So just because the songwriters are maybe 2 out of 5 guys, it doesn't mean that you don't split up all the sales equally among the band. But
I like that.
The sales, well, that album was 2 years ago, then it was 10 years ago, and it's not going to sell very much after a decade, right?
Right.
But the airplay royalties for the 2 songwriters will continue. So, I mean, and then if the drummers, some drummers just don't have the feel, they can offer where to change and where to perhaps make a change, or maybe you could follow this drum beat, right? But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of difficult. Sometimes when there's too many writers, the song never gets finished either.
Right.
Too many, and then say that guy's idea didn't get used, and now he feels slighted, and that guy's idea got used, and now those guys got this secret little thorn in their ass on the other guy or whatever. All kinds of stuff like that. I mean, it's personal. It turns into personal stuff, from songwriting to that guy resented that they didn't use his chorus, and that guy resented that they didn't use that lick. But you can always tell a good song by what you threw in the garbage.
Right.
You say you had a pretty good guitar lick, and then the other guitar player goes, yeah, okay, well, what about this one? Well, geez, that's even better. So we'll throw that good lick in the garbage and use this really great lick instead. So that's why I say, like, you can tell a good song by what you threw in the garbage.
Right. Well, the end result should always be the best song possible. It's like, I always say in our band that I don't care if the dog sings it. If that's what sounds the best, then that's who sings it, because it's a collaboration, and there's been times where one wants to sing it and we're going, no, you're not singing this one. And if you get butthurt, you get butthurt, but you shouldn't, because again, the end result, everybody in the band should want that song to sound the best it could sound when it's done, not say, well, my guitar lick or my vocals or my backup should have been in there. It's like, well, yeah, but these were better and this makes the song better. But people don't understand that. And that's what confuses me, is they get that hair up their ass about, hey, my lead is better than yours, when it's really not. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you can't convince them other than that. No, my lead was better. You're just using it for whatever reason. It's just like, dude, wake up. And so, going into about songs, here's another song from My Wicked Twin, White Parts of Her Tan.
She likes the sun and the sand and the UV rays get too deep, cold and tan. I really like you that way, but what makes my day is all the white parts of a tan so dreamy. No one sees but me who understand. And her gentle touch is something. We're a natural conjunction. In the heat of a woman and man, the white parts of a tan. The white parts of a tan. She wears a NASCAR hat, keeps her sandals packed, drives a Sunbird sedan. She keeps the comfort zone close, but my favorite is all the white parts of a tan bikini. Land so teeny, write our names in the sand. Got a tattoo on her pumpkin, and her smile is really something. In a time that's certainly at hand, the white parts of a tan. The white parts of a tan. A can of beer in her hand and her feet in the sand, and her wishes my command. The burning sun in the sky is going to really amplify all the white parts of a tan, revealing string bikini, long hair blows in the wind, and a gentle touch is something. We're a natural conjunction in the sun with a beautiful plan. The white parts of a tan. The white parts of a tan.
Going back to your extensive experience in touring and working with other artists, we're going to flip it to the really dark side of the band life and behind the scenes. And so, have you, a band member, close friend, family, ever struggled with alcohol and drug addiction? And if so, did they go get help? Did they go to rehab? Are they still with us? What's the scoop on that?
Never been addicted to anything except nicotine. That is my one crush. I just can't shake loose cigarettes. No one in Helix has ever been addicted to alcohol or any sort of drugs. Uh, our lead singer, he used to drink so much, he gave me a friggin' rash. And after a while, the band, we just had a talk with him after 5 years of him being drunk like 7 days a week. But he'd do it after the show. He would never get drunk during the show, And that was the band rule we had. Drink, do all the drugs or do all the drinks you want after the show,
Right.
never before the show. And that was a real strict rule we had. So that kind of kept us from getting whacked out and stuff. And then our singer finally just said, "I've had enough of this drinking," and I don't think he's had a drink in like 20 years.
That's great. That's great.
And as far as the drugs were concerned, we made such little money. Who could afford to buy a gram of blow? Couldn't afford that. Who could afford that? We were too poor.
And if you did, when you split it between everybody, there wasn't much you get anyway. So it's like it was worthless. So,
Yeah, and our management, they were really, really strict on any heavy drug use like cocaine or anything else like that. They were really dead against it. And they tried to keep an eye on us to make sure that we wouldn't get out of control when we're not on stage. And actually, we could probably thank our old management for keeping us in line and not getting addicted to anything.
That's rare, dude, because you know how many people we've lost, any artists and musicians and songwriters that we've lost to drugs or alcohol, and which leads to suicide. We've lost a lot to those three aspects of the band life. And people always say, "Well, I don't understand. He had everything, and he had that, he had this, and he's famous, and his his songs are worldwide. But so why did he hang himself? Why did he shoot himself? Why the overdosing and stuff that can't be helped." But I mean, it can be. But you know what I'm saying? It's not like I took a gun and shot myself. It's like you just did too much, or you had a hot mix or whatever. But just lose too many that are brilliant geniuses to suicide. And you always kick back and wonder, maybe they're so far beyond us as far as mental capacity that they just can't handle the real world. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that?
I'd have to say, like, is it just me, or does it seem like all the best ones die too soon?
Oh, it is, dude.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, just like when Tom Petty passed. I mean, and it's just like and just so many others. I mean, you could sit there and just keep naming them off.
Freddie Mercury, Nirvana, all the best ones.
Yeah.
Leave us way too soon. They leave an indelible mark in music history, and then they leave us.
I know. See, and that's a lesson for you guys out there, to stay away from the shit that's going to keep you from being a legend. Like Mr. Brent here, stay clean. You don't need that shit, You don't need doing that shit.
Put the money in the bank instead.
Yeah.
You'll be happier later.
Well, an hour later after a gram of blow, dude, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Spend the money on something that an hour later you still have. You know what I'm saying?
They should have just called it More. That's what the name should be, More.
Well, I'll tell you, Eric Clapton's song "Cocaine," when she says, "She don't lie, she don't lie." Well, that's a yes and no. She does lie, but you just keep going back. But that's something that again, that the ones that are still around and survived have learned either the lesson or never got into it. So, you learn things sometimes the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, it's my case. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's hindsight. But, going into the next song from My Wicked Twin is Brain Dancing.
Catch a load and devote to bigger, better things. Lend me an ear, I'll give it back to you. Got a tune in my head, it rings all around. It's gotta have heart and it's gotta have truth. I've been lied to. My ears have been abused. I'm looking for a lick that's still can put rhythm in my rhyme. No affection, a cranial infection that hit me every afternoon. I can't explain every day. My brain gets into a tune, and I think I like it. Looking around, I hear sound. My brain gets into a tune. My brain gets into a tune. Heard a tune about you that didn't wanna play. It had a good riff, but it had no proof. Listen up for a sound you don't hear around. I'm making a note in my big notebook. It's my mind's ear that bends the notes to tears. I'm tuning in to dig it out all the time. I can't explain every day. My brain gets into a tune, and I found like it. Looking around, I hear sound. My brain gets into a tune. Yeah, my brain gets into a tune. My eyes are glistening. My brain is listening to what I think I hear. And here. I can't explain every day. My brain gets into a tune, and I found a like it. Yeah, I better say loud as hell, and nothing else will do. Yeah, my brain gets into a tune.
I wrote the lyrics. Catch a note, I devote to bigger, better things. It's about the songwriting. Lend me an ear, I'll give it back to you. Got a tune in my head, it spins all around. It's got to have heart and it's got to have truth.
So do you think that the artists nowadays and the songwriters nowadays are writing more the lyrics for what they think the listener wants to hear versus writing the lyrics for a message that you're trying to get out?
Seems to me like a lot of bands are writing real negative lyrics, like "I hate your guts" and "death to you" and "you're gonna kill me" and really negative lyrics. And I don't know. I just don't feel that way. So I don't write. I don't write that. I don't. I'm
Well,
happy.
we talked about at the very beginning about lyrics and what it should evoke in your emotions. And, those type of lyrics and going along with probably the melodies doesn't evoke good energy, definitely. Yeah, you see the industry and some of the artists going in ways that you're wondering, what's such a big change, the satanic stuff and like you said, the negativity and
Dark stuff, yeah.
it's just so different. So, Mr. Brent, what advice would you give to all the new artists, the struggling artists out there, the ones that are thinking about getting into the game of putting their music out in the wide world of the internet and promoters and so on and so forth. So, what would be your advice to the listeners, the beginning musicians, the old musicians still out there working? What's your advice to them?
I guess, like, I think that paying money to get airplay is wrong. I'd like to say that I see all these things on Facebook where we'll promote your song. It's only 120 a month. So now you're forking out money, but you don't actually really know if they're actually doing what they're telling you that they did.
Exactly.
So I think that's a real crapshoot when you like. Uh, I've never paid our record company a penny, and he works hard for Indie Tunes Records. He works hard for me, and he's never asked me for money to promote anything. But he works hard to promote me.
Yep.
So that'd be one thing that I'd say is that pay to play is I think that's a roll of the dice, baby.
Right. No, and that's the thing that the young artists out there that are coming out, um, they're gullible and they believe you. And like you said, they take your money and don't do shit for you. And, we'll be doing a show basically concentrating on that subject, which is the music industry, the record labels, the promoters. Just like with everything in this world, there's good and there's bad. But it seems like there's more bad creeping into the music industry than before, then there's good. So, this is a topic that the doctor wants to really get into on another show about, you know, the do's, the don'ts, the who you stay away from, who you believe, how to push your songs, like you said, yourself, how to get your codes, how to distribute, and not rely on somebody and be underneath their thumb. But, again, that's going to be another show, and definitely, Mr. Britt Dog's going to have you on that show, and we can talk more about that because you have the experience. You signed on with Capital. I mean, you know the ins and outs of the industry, and again, with your knowledge and expertise and being the legend you are, that knowledge is something that would cost millions to get from somebody, and we want to get that from you and pass it on to the listeners. So, it's just been phenomenal to have talked to you and had this interview with you, and um, again, we'll be doing other interviews together, Mr. Brent. I can see that, and I know one thing before we get to the end of this, that you have a special request that you're looking for somebody. You wanna tell us about that?
Great. I've because I don't try to pigeonhole songwriting into a certain category. Just because I'm a hard rock guitarist doesn't mean that every song I write is hard rock. Because now you're cramping your creativity. So other songs that I write are light-hearted songs and soft-sounding songs. And I ended up with so many of them. And I don't mean slow songs. I mean pop songs. So I got like an album pop songs, and I'm looking for a 16-year-old, roughly, male singer that's good looking and can sing good and has recording experience. I want this person, whoever it is, to sing all my songs for me that are already recorded, and I would ask him to sing it the way that I've written it, and then he can have open license to sing it the way he feels he can wants to. And I would create a new artist under his face and images, and I would split the songwriter's royalties with him 50% for his
Awesome.
image.
That's
So I
phenomenal.
want to take, yeah. So am I asking for the world? I don't think so. I think that there is a 16 or 18-year-old young, good-looking male guy that can sing good and sounds good. And I don't want to end up teaching the guy when to sing an upbeat or when to sing a downbeat and when to sing the trill and when not to, right?
Right.
I don't want to go through that. I'm actually too old to go through that. So I'll just send him my track. He just copy it exactly, right? And sing it that way. And all I'd have to do to choose the guy is I just need to hear some of his recordings, of course.
Right.
So you'll know by his recordings if he knows song timing,
Right.
when to come in. And oh yeah, there was a joke. How can you tell when a singer's knocking at your front door? He can't find the key and he doesn't know when to come in.
That's very good. Well, listeners, you heard him. Mr. Brent's looking for somebody. He's looking for the next star out there. So, Brent, how can they contact you if that gentleman is out there and he's ready to start singing? How can he contact you?
He can find me on My Wicked Twin on Facebook or Brent Durner on Facebook, and just message me there and send me a couple of your MP3s in Facebook, and so I can hear you sing, and we'll take it from there. Send me a picture of yourself, or I'll go to your Facebook page, see what you look like, because the idea is I want a whole bunch of young girls to follow this guy. So that's why I want him to be good looking. He's got to be, maybe I can do Justin Bieber #2.
Well, you heard it, guys out there. Mr. Brent's looking for a young, good-looking Justin Bieber type out there. So hit him up if you're interested. He's phenomenal. I mean, he would be phenomenal to work with. I mean, I can't even imagine being able to work side by side with Brent. So, the doctor wants to thank Brent Dorner and My Wicked Twin for being here today. It's been a great time, a great interview. We've learned a lot from you. The doctor wants to thank Dogbone Studio, M&M Radio, and Magpie Sally as well.
I want to say I'd like to take a moment just to say thanks to MM Radio for all your support. And tune in to drop into mmradio.com. I was there actually, I still have it running now. And thank you guys for all your support. We really appreciate it.
Well, Brent, it's our pleasure. And the doctor and MM Radio will support you all the way. You're a phenomenal artist. You're a legend in the industry. And we just want to thank you for putting out the music that we can play. So thanks again, Brent.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Mr. Brent and the Dr. Dog are out.
Bands, the good, bad, and the ugly with Dr. Dog. On MM, the show where we get real about the ups and downs of band life.
To infinity and tastiness with MM Radio.